All right, guys, here it is. This is the brand new MacBook Neo. As you can see, this is the citrus color right here, 13-inch. On the outside, you basically just have two USB-C ports, and you've got the headphone jack. This right here, this little line, that's a speaker, and that's the other speaker here. So those are your two speakers. It's kind of off to the side firing. They say it's got Dolby Atmos and spatial audio. We're gonna have to test that. It's kind of loud in here. We're gonna have to test and see how good these speakers are. But this Mac starts at $599. Now that gives you 256 gigabytes of storage, and you get a lock button instead of a Touch ID button. If you want to bump up to 512 gigs with Touch ID, then you're talking about an extra $100. So $700 for a whole Mac. It is powered by the A18 Pro chip, and from the demos I've seen, though, I've seen video editing happening in Final Cut Pro on these. You have to remember the A18 is about 5 years newer than the M1. It is faster than the M1 in single core, and it's almost neck and neck with the M1 for multi-core. So you're basically getting what is similar to, in single core, something between an M2 and an M3, and then for multi-core, something around the M1. Again, $600, $500 for education, that's crazy. So looking at the screen, looks nice. Now, one place that I found where it feels like a corner has been cut, I guess, is the trackpad. Trackpad feels good as you're moving around. It's still a glass trackpad, but when you press on it, you can physically see it moving. It's not a force touch haptic trackpad. It's actually a clickable trackpad. And again, I don't know if you could catch this, but when I press in, you see it physical movement there. That's not something you've seen on an Apple laptop in probably since the original MacBook Air, the OG Gen 1 MacBook Air. So this is, I don't know what they call this. It's like a diving board. All right, here we go. This is the indigo color of the MacBook. The lighting's not great in here, but as you can see, it's like a nice deep purplish blue, not bad. And the other cool thing, by the way, is, again, it's hard to see, but the keyboards are color matched to the color. If I grab this, I don't know if you could tell, but the keyboard here is actually bluish versus the other ones where there's like a silver one here where it is white. So yeah, they're even color matching the keyboards on the Neo. Pretty fun, not bad. Back to work on here though. Again, it feels very snappy, very responsive. I'm liking it. And I don't know whose life this is, but your life is way more interesting than mine. You got a lot of meetings going on. Why are you even using a Neo if that's your calendar? $599 for the MacBook Neo is a great deal, in my opinion. $499 for education. So if you're in school or a teacher, $499 for a Mac with 256 gigs of storage, it's really hard to complain about that. And then for $100 more, you get the Touch ID and you get 512 gigs of storage. So you're basically doubling your storage, which again, very interesting. And then as far as RAM goes, no matter which one you choose, whether it's the 512 or 256, you're getting 8 gigabytes of RAM with the Apple A18 Pro chip. That's the MacBook Neo, $599, A18 Pro powered, full Mac laptop. Let me know, is this something that you would consider picking up, something you'd buy for one of your kids, or something you would buy as your first Mac if you're not a Mac user yet? Drop it in the comments. I'll meet you there for further discussion. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andru, and I'll catch you in the next video.